Join us for the complete countdown through the 100 greatest players in Premier League history. A title winner with Blackburn, sandwiched between two spells at Chelsea, the latter of which saw him pick up plenty more silverware. Saux quality on the ball when getting forward from left back and quietly added 37 caps for England. JR always reliable and diligent when defending, his versatility has also seen him establish himself as one of the great defenders of the last decade in the Premier League. Rarely injured, the Spaniard has proven to be a genuine bargain since his £7 million move from Marseille. He played every minute of the 2016-17 title-winning campaign in the second of his two titles, one of just 4 players to accomplish that feat, joining John Terry, Wes Morgan and Gary Pallister Jr. The Brazilian has been at Manchester City since 2013, but it's only in the past 2 seasons, under Pep Guardiola, that his qualities and value as a player have come to light, notably his disruptive influence and controlled poise. Indeed, his absence from notable City defeats this season have demonstrated his importance at the base of the side's midfield unit. At 33, he will be sorely missed when he moves on. SL, one of the most versatile players in Premier League history, with successful spells at Leeds, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Manchester City and Liverpool. A 2-time title winner who seems to get better with age. MC, outrageous talent and skill some may argue was never fulfilled. But Jose Mourinho nurtured him with tough love at Chelsea, where he picked up 3 Premier League titles. He peaked in 2006, playing an integral part to that title-winning side, winning himself a place in the PFA Team of the Year and starring for England at the World Cup. His best moments arguably both came against Man United, the solo goal at Stamford Bridge to clinch the title in 2006, and the clever flick to break the deadlock at Old Trafford in 2010, which would prove to be pivotal as the Blues won the title again that season. Junior. What a surprise when a 22-year-old Junin snubbed some of the leading sides in Europe to sign for Middlesbrough. A long-lasting love affair ensued with the Brazilian, enjoying 3 separate spells at the club. The Frenchman was already a 2-time Champions League winner and world champion with France when he signed for Chelsea. Formed a formidable partnership with Frank Leboeuf and captained the side. A mercurial talent who never truly settled in the league due to injuries, but for a short spell was arguably the best on display. The Flying Dutchman could turn passive possession into danger in a flash with his exceptional control when running at speed. Injuries plagued his time in England, with spells at Real Madrid and Bayern establishing himself as one of the greats of his generation. JRTHG 14th most successful goalscorer in the history of the Premier League. Played for numerous clubs but enjoyed the most success at Spurs, scoring just shy of 100 league goals. LBA gifted goal scorer and Premier League title winner at Blackburn, Sutton was your quintessential out-and-out number 9. Never as big a hit on the international stage as he might have been, but his domestic achievements more than justify his place here. BB. His contribution and importance to the Liverpool defence is often overlooked due to Jamie Carragher's constant presence, but Herpia was a mainstay of the Reds for a decade and a key part of their Champions League triumph in 2005, not to mention a much-loved captain. JDM. His arrival at Manchester City, along with the likes of Robinho and co., marked a new era for the club as it looked to refashion itself into a Premier League giant. The Bosnian helped play a role in this transformation, scoring 50 goals during his time at the club. SLA stalwart of the Arsenal team that won the 1997-98 and 2001-02 Premier League titles. Not bad for a £765,000 signing from Stoke, which also saw Steve Bold join the Gunners. TK emerged from the shadow of Cristiano Ronaldo to become a crucial part of the Alex Ferguson side and can look back proudly on his 5 Premier League titles. When he was on his game, he was one of the most naturally gifted players in the league. JDM. A number 10 with a gifted football brain, Beardsley was a star of the early years of the Premier League, even if his best came before 1992 in fan-favourite spells with both Newcastle and Liverpool. BB won 2 Premier League titles and 3 FA Cups, scoring in 2 finals. A key part of the legendary team which won the title without tasting defeat in 2003-04. TK, a converted defensive midfielder who formed a crucial partnership with Patrick Vieira. Only spent 3 years in North London but helped Arsenal to win the double in 1997-98. TK, a former Manchester United captain who won an astonishing 5 league titles during his 9 years at Old Trafford. Low, how on earth did a coach, Ronaldinho's mentor at Paris Saint-Germain, ever end up at Bolton? The Nigerian had magic in his boots and became a cult hero in Lancashire, forming a brilliant partnership with French World Cup winner Youri Djorkaeff. LB, ignore the acrimonious exit. McManaman was one of Liverpool's best players throughout the 90s, before becoming the most decorated Englishman to have played abroad. MC has an argument to be the best right-back in the league's history, tougher and stronger than most, with a tremendous appetite to attack, chipping in with 34 goals and 34 assists in his time in London. A threat in the opposition's penalty area and with the positional noose at the back due to his versatility to play inside at centre-back. Everything you would want and more from a right-back. Junior, a Premier League giant, rarely troubled by injury or suspension, Speed made 535 Premier League appearances during his career, putting him at 5th in the all-time list. His tragic suicide shocked the sport, marking a turning point in the conversation around mental health in football. Not many players have the skill, or the gall, to become first-team regulars at Chelsea, Arsenal and Tottenham. It was at Stamford Bridge the enigmatic Frenchman enjoyed the most success, winning 2 league titles. TK, he may be inconsistent, he may drift in and out of games, and he may be a divisive character at the Emirates. But when he is on song, there are few players who can read the game like Mesut Özil. Often an unbridled joy to watch, he has been Arsenal's key player for over 5 years now. LBTHE invisible invincible. Played a key if understated role in the best Arsenal team of all time, alongside Patrick Vieira. A bargain at £4.5 million. TK, a one-club man, Liverpool's vice-captain for 10 years, and the club's second longest ever serving player. Never won a league title with Liverpool, but did win 2 FA Cups, 3 League Cups and a Champions League. A first-team regular from 1997 until he retired, in 2013. At his best, Ince played a crucial role in both of Alex Ferguson's first 2 Premier League titles. He was the midfield enforcer who never stopped, but he also weighed in with his fair share of goals arriving on the edge of the box. After 6 years at Old Trafford, Ince moved to Inter Milan before later spells at Liverpool, Middlesbrough and Wolves. Loth 8th highest scorer in the Premier League with 149 goals. Prolific for both Queen's Park Rangers and Newcastle, while also becoming hugely popular at White Hart Lane. A genuine superstar in the making, Sterling has hit new heights in the past 2 seasons. His contributions both with and without the ball have proved vital at Manchester City, and have similarly injected a sense of energy and purpose into England's front line. And at 24, he's only going to get better. Sparky had success at Chelsea before 2-year spells at Southampton, Everton and Blackburn, but his high point came earlier as the perfect foil for Eric Cantona in Manchester United's first 2 title wins. Hughes was an all-round striker who could hold up the ball, lose his marker in the box and finish, but above all it was undying tenacity that Ferguson most valued. Low. Pallister won 4 titles at Old Trafford as the sidekick to Steve Bruce, at the heart of Alex Ferguson's early success. Coming off the back of winning the PFA Player of the Year award in 1991-92, Pallister played every minute of the first Premier League season in 1992-93, as United became champions for the first time in 26 years. Low. Often foreign strikers can take a season or two to acclimatise to the rigours of the Premier League. Not this man. Arrived at Spurs from Monaco and immediately scored 20 goals in 41 league matches, despite a turbulent season which saw Osvaldo Ardiles replaced by Steve Perryman and then Jerry Francis. LB. His partnership with captain John Terry in central defence was hailed as a major factor behind Chelsea's two early titles under Jose Mourinho. Intelligent on the ball and a fantastic distributor, Carvalho complemented the traditional, hard-nosed approach adopted by Terry. Before he was an unexpectedly high-achieving interim manager, he was one of the best strikers in the business. Few could have expected quite how successful the Norwegian would become at Old Trafford when he was signed on the cheap to provide backup to Eric Cantona and Andy Cole. MD. One of the most charismatic players ever to grace the Premier League, who delighted fans at Newcastle, Spurs, Everton and Aston Villa with his mazy dribbling and sumptuous first touch. LB. Prolific for Leeds and Middlesbrough, but his prime was probably spent with Chelsea, who made him their club record signing for £15 million in 2000. He also formed one half of one of the best strike partnerships in the league's history alongside Ider Gudjohnsen. While known for pounding the ball with tremendous force, his intelligent movement and ability to perfectly deliver the ball for a teammate made him a great striker. Jr. Chelsea's raging bull, Costa terrorized opposition defences during his 3 years at the club. In that time he scored 52 goals from 89 league appearances, scoring a number of pivotal goals in the title run-in under Antonio Conte. A forceful presence who knew how to lead the line all by himself. Arguably the most naturally gifted defender of his generation. What a shame his was a career blighted by injury. When asked what defender he most disliked playing against, Thierry Henry once replied, "Ledley King was the best defender I've played against and the only one that didn't have to foul me to get the ball." LB. A complete midfielder, who would have mixed it with Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira in their prime. The Ghanaian was immense as a box-to-box presence during perhaps the peak years in the league's history. His bending strike against Arsenal at Stamford Bridge stands out as one of his finest moments. Jr. initially struggled at Arsenal, but soon found his feet, ending his debut campaign with 12 goals and becoming a key player in the Arsenal side which won the double in 1998. Eventually left for Barcelona in a £25 million deal, making him the most expensive player in Dutch football history. The Spaniard exploded onto the English football scene at Liverpool and never looked back, becoming one of the most feared number 9s in the history of the league. A big money move to Chelsea didn't go as planned, but that relentless early run at Anfield was matched by few we've ever seen. BB. His legacy will be defined by what comes next, but at his peak, De Bruyne might be the finest midfield scene in the Premier League. After City pounced on the Belgian just a few years after Chelsea's foolish decision to sell him, De Bruyne's dynamism has seen him able to influence games no matter the circumstances. Capable of swiping the ball into the top corner from distance, whip the ball around corners for teammates to chase or simply to establish a pattern of possession, De Bruyne has it all. Jr. A cult hero with Arsenal, Seaman set the standard for English goalkeeping for over a decade. Twice a Premier League champion and a 4-time FA Cup winner, even his late career ponytail can be forgiven. BB. The Croatian would ascend to greater heights at Real Madrid, where he has won 4 Champions League titles and a Ballon d'Or. But before that he was a key player for Tottenham Hotspur, helping the North London side into Europe's premier club competition for the first ever time. LB. One of the best fullbacks ever to grace the Premier League. Irwin was a mainstay in the Manchester United team during his decade at Old Trafford, winning 7 Premier League titles. Only Gary Neville, Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs have more. He could play either side, took free kicks and penalties, and dovetailed brilliantly with Giggs, who later said he was able to stay high up the pitch because Irwin needed such little defensive cover. Low. No defender has more Premier League winners' medals than Neville's 8. He was consistent and reliable defensively and formed a fruitful partnership with his close friend David Beckham on United's right, before later becoming captain of his one and only club. Low. A key part of the Liverpool team which won the most thrilling Champions League final in history. Helped usher in Rafa Benitez's Anfield revolution, forming a wonderful midfield partnership with Steven Gerrard before departing after 5 seasons for Real Madrid. LB. The Italian was one of most exciting among a raft of imported no-10s who arrived in the late 1990s and lit up the Premier League show. His early success at Sheffield Wednesday was effectively ended when he pushed over referee Paul Alcock, receiving an 11-game ban, but he shone at West Ham and his volley against Wimbledon will go down as one of the great Premier League goals. Low. A case can be made that the Dutchman was equal to any goalkeeper in the league's history. After years of failure to find a successor to Peter Schmeichel, Sir Alex Ferguson stole Van der Sar for a meagre £2 million from Fulham, securing a key cog and 4 titles during his time at the club. Junior. A player whose brilliance was defined by an artisanal elegance and the complete elimination of any superfluous movement. Struggled in his first few games for Tottenham before finding his rhythm, eventually moving to Manchester United for a club record fee. Won 2 league titles before departing for Fulham. Arguably the most misunderstood player in Premier League history, and among the more underrated. LB. Alex Ferguson's defensive lieutenant captained United to 3 Premier League titles during the 90s, scoring 2 famous late headers against Sheffield Wednesday to win United's first title for 26 years. He is widely considered the greatest Englishman ever to have represented his country. Low scored goals wherever he went. Won league titles with both Arsenal and Chelsea, while becoming a key player at Liverpool, Manchester City, Bolton and West Brom. JDM. Another striker who positively plundered goals in his prime. York is most famous for his near-unstoppable partnership with Andy Cole at Manchester United. But it's his record at Aston Villa, 73 goals over 9 years, that earns him his place here. BB asserted himself as one of the best defenders in the world before famously falling out with Sir Alex Ferguson and leaving for Lazio. Ferguson would later admit to making a mistake. At the time he had just come back from an Achilles injury and we thought he had just lost a little bit, he wrote. We got the offer from Lazio, £16.5 million for a centre-back who was 29. It was an offer I couldn't refuse. But in playing terms it was a mistake. He is still playing for Ajax at a really good level. MC. His immense legacy is that a position was defined after him and that Real Madrid were haunted by his sale to Chelsea for years to come. Adept at playing his role without the need to fly into challenges or impose his physicality, Makelele simply pinched possession and kept the ball moving with sheeries. Junior. The 11th highest goal scorer in the history of the Premier League with 146 goals, and the competition's 19th highest appearance maker. A cult hero at Spurs thanks to 2 prolific spells at White Hart Lane, but it is at Manchester United that he enjoyed the most success, winning 3 consecutive Premier League titles between 1998 to 2001. LB. Possibly the most underutilized and underrated English footballer in modern times. A vital cog for both West Ham and Tottenham before his big move to Manchester United. He would go on to make over 300 league appearances for the club, winning an extraordinary 5 titles. JDM. From the Hackney Marshes to Highbury writes story is the stuff of fairy tales. An all-round, out-and-out striker, Wright scored every type of goal, famously breaking Cliff Baston's Gunners record despite spending his first 7 years at Crystal Palace. Only Thierry Henry has more in the famed red and white. One of the most ruthless goal scorers the Premier League has ever seen. 120 goals in just 236 league appearances in his first stint at Liverpool, before more troubled spells Leeds, Manchester City and Blackburn. No matter, you do not earn the only semi-ironic nickname, God, for no reason. JDM, always controversial, always deadly in front of goal, always a delight to watch. Pitched up at West Ham in 2006, scoring 7 priceless goals to help keep the Hammers up. From there he formed a formidable strike partnership with Wayne Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo, winning 2 league titles, before his acrimonious move to City. He would spend 4 successful seasons across town, scoring another 58 league goals and winning the title once more. JDM, undoubtedly the best goalkeeper in the Premier League for the past 5 years, perhaps even the world. A Premier League title winner in 2012-13, the Spaniard has been included in the PFA Team of the Year on 5 separate occasions and was named United's Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year for 3 consecutive seasons between 2013 to 2016, the first player in the award's history to win on 3 successive occasions. MC, the centre-back, is one of very few players to have enjoyed successful stints at both Tottenham and Arsenal. His effortless defensive skill was the epitome of Arsenal's invincibles and earned him a place in the PFA Team of the Year. Another one-club man, Adams spent all 22 years of his professional career at Arsenal. Uniquely, he captained a title-winning team across 3 different decades, during which time he won 4 top-flight division titles, 3 FA Cups, 2 Football League Cups, a UEFA Cup Winners' Cup and 2 FA Community Shields. A true legend, he is considered one of the greatest Arsenal players of all time. SL. The winger came in as a replacement for Marc Overmars, and after taking some time to adjust to the Premier League's physicality, he lit up English football with his smooth dribbling style and collection of memorable goals. His peak was his hugely fruitful relationship with Thierry Henry during the Invincibles season. From the humblest of beginnings to the dizzying heights of Premier League success, first with Leicester and then with Chelsea, N'Golo Kanté has proved a revelation. His willingness to do the dirty work, while allowing his teammates to grab the headlines further up the pitch, have earned him the admiration of fans across the league. And if it wasn't for him, it seems unlikely Leicester would have gone on to win the league when they did. SL. The dictionary definition of a one-club man, Le Tissier would have won more trophies and notoriety away from his beloved Southampton, but that loyalty didn't stop him becoming one of the most technically gifted players of his generation. Criminally overlooked by England, Le Tissier was a creator and scorer of great goals and also goes down as one of the best penalty takers in the history of the game. BB, the player most likely to drastically improve his ranking in years to come. Still only 25, Kane is already the 15th highest scorer in the history of the Premier League, level with Nicolas Anelka and only one behind fellow Tottenham favourite Robbie Keane. Holds the record for most Premier League Player of the Month awards, as well the best strike rate, 0.70 goals per game, in the tournament's history. LB took a little while to hit the ground running at Anfield, but his contribution to Liverpool's famous 2013-14 campaign will live long in the memory. The Uruguayan hit an extraordinary 31 goals in 33 matches as Liverpool went so close to ending their long wait for a league title. A complete centre-forward, who worked tirelessly, assisted his teammates and was utterly ruthless in front of goal. MCA pioneer thanks to his time at Chelsea, where he charmed a generation of fans with his fancy tricks and delightful free-kick goals. The diminutive Italian sparked a period with the Blues of expansive, attractive football. Capable of bamboozling the league's toughest defenders, Zola's class deserved to be surrounded with better quality. Jr., I feel I have achieved everything I set out to achieve, the goalkeeper said upon announcing his retirement for the end of the season. It's hard to dispute. Indeed, how could you after a career that brought 1 Champions League, 4 Premier Leagues, 1 Europa League, 5 FA Cups and 3 League Cups? At the peak of his powers, he was simply one of the best goalkeepers to have graced the Premier League. SL. Fabregas broke into Arsenal's first team as a teenager and quickly starred in midfield with his technical quality, eventually taking up the club captaincy. A decade on, he won the Premier League with Chelsea, playing an instrumental role as Diego Costa's provider. Also famous for throwing a slice of pizza at Sir Alex Ferguson. Loon's a player who looked slow and sometimes used as a centre-back. Yaya Touré's game was almost entirely reinvented when he moved to Manchester. A goal-scoring midfielder, powerful runner with pinpoint accuracy. One of the leaders of City's domestic dominance. England and Liverpool's boy wonder, Michael Owen's best years came in his youth before injury took its toll, both physical and mentally. Owen was the last Englishman to win the Ballon d'Or, having notably helped Liverpool to a treble in the 2001 season. He scored 118 goals for the Reds across 216 league appearances. One of the best strikers of his generation, there are too many moments of brilliance to list when it comes to RVP. His move from Arsenal, where he made a name for himself, to Manchester United will always remain a point of contention, but it certainly paid off. In his first season, he won the 2012-13 Premier League and finished as the league's top scorer with 26 goals, winning his second consecutive Golden Boot award. A world-class player. SL. The 2012-13 PFA Young Player of the Year, FWA Footballer of the Year and Premier League Player of the Season. How amusing that, at the beginning of his Spurs career, fans thought he was jinxed, but the Welshman coming close to a cut-price move to Birmingham. For 6 seasons he developed from a promising left-back into one of the best forwards in the world, eventually recruited by Real Madrid for a world record fee as Cristiano Ronaldo's heir apparent. LB, never the most talented, Cole earned every one of his 187 Premier League goals with a relentless will to win. A journeyman career spanning 13 clubs, it is his time at Manchester United alongside favourite running mate Dwight Yorke that he is remembered for. A 5-time champion, only 2 players in history have scored more. BBMR Manchester City. Few sum up the rise of his football club than company. 3-time title winner and instrumental in the Belgian led from the front as the beating heart of some of the best teams we've seen. A modern defender with athletic prowess and technical skill to match company, will be remembered as one of the finest foreign imports the English game has seen. Be irresistible at his absolute best and one of the very few players capable of not only deciding games on his own, but doing so without the help of teammates. The Belgian showcases total control when dribbling the ball, a skill he can stake claim to be the very best at throughout his time in